Hello everyone, we are JHIMS Technology, and today we introduce the advanced parameters of the printer. We omit the zeroing action of the machine and introduce the detailed parameters directly. Skip the return to origin action. Open the template and click New. Then create a new product program name. We will skip these simple details and directly discuss the meaning of each parameter. Open Model Maker. This is the PCB length, width and thickness. This is the length and width of the steel mesh formwork. Does this choose only PCB marks or PCB and template marks? This is the error setting of the detection mark point. It is to detect the difference between mark 1 and 2 to X and Y. Because of some customers, the positioning of their PCB mark points is also inaccurate, and there will be deviations. Because some PCB boards have problems, there is a deviation in the position of the mark point. This function is mainly to solve the problem that the mark coordinate position on the PCB board is inaccurate. If there is a deviation problem with the marking points on the PCB board, the solder printing will be deviated. Selecting the marking points can solve this problem. These parameters are automatically set and do not need to be modified. We mainly modify the PCB conveying speed and conveying direction. This PCB export delay, because some PCBs are very long, it is necessary to increase the delay time to transport all the PCBs out. Assuming that the PCB board delivery delay is 10 seconds, but not all of them are delivered out, we can increase it to 12 seconds. This is the number of intervals between manual cleaning and automatic cleaning. This is the blade moving speed and blade downward pressure parameter settings. The blade is divided into left blade downward pressure and right blade downward pressure. This is the number of times the solder is applied to the PCB. Set the number of times solder is applied to the same PCB. This is the start and end position settings of the blade. This is the clamping and loosening of the formwork and formwork frames. These left blade start, left blade end and right blade start, right blade end, we want to check its actual position. Added solder reminder, this is a reminder function. If you select the add solder function, it will automatically add solder. Suppose I set it to remind me to add solder after 200 times. When it reaches 200, the machine alarm will remind me to add solder. Since no option function has been added, it cannot be used here. Does this reminder need to adjust the PCB channel width? We click on Advanced Parameter Settings. This is the length and speed settings when the PCB is separated from the template. This is the speed setting at which the blade is lifted or lowered after the solder is applied. Just use the default parameters without modification. This is after the solder is applied to the PCB, the machine first lifts the scraper or separates the PCB board first. This is a process setting. You can set the orders in which they are made. This pause time refers to the duration for which the stencil must remain in place after the solder paste has been applied to the PCB before it is removed. This solder printing gap refers to the setting of the gap distance between the PCB board and the template. This is the gap setting between the PCB and the template. Assume that the gap between the PCB and the steel mesh formwork is set at 0.2 mm. When the solder is applied to the PCB board, there is a 0.2 mm gap between the PCB and the template. Normally, this parameter does not need to be modified and is set to 0 mm. How many PCB boards are set for this predetermined block? Equivalent to the number of PCB plans produced. This is the cleaning method of setting the template. Washed with alcohol. Wipe with cleaning paper. Use a vacuum to absorb dirt. This is sprayed with alcohol and then wiped. This is the number of times it was cleaned. If I set 6, it means cleaning in this mode 6 times. After cleaning 6 times, proceed to the next cleaning mode. After the first cleaning step is performed, the second cleaning step is performed. The following parameters are for setting the cleaning speed, vacuum delay, alcohol, and cleaning paper parameters. The delay in the cleaning solution equates to the delay in the alcohol spray. The amount of alcohol sprayed. This is the delay time for cleaning paper. This is the cleaning direction. Check this to clean from the right to the left of the template. If not, clean from the left to the left and right. Click OK. Then click Next. Does the pop-up dialog box adjust the PCB conveyor width? This is PCB automatic loading, conveying and positioning. This is the distance to clamp the PCB. The current setting of the clamping amount is 1 mm. This section allows you to manually click test and check the machine's movements. I will not explain the meaning of these functions. This is the coordinate position of the stop when the PCB is delivered. By modifying the coordinate parameters, you can modify its delivery stop position. This type of PCB structure is generally used for profiled shapes, and it is necessary to modify the position where the PCB stops during transportation. This is a 2D solder detection function, which mainly detects problems such as missed printing, hole plugging, and less soldering applications. This part has been introduced before, so I won't repeat the explanation. This is PCB vacuum adsorption fixation, and some models will have this option function. This is where the Z-axis drops to the height of the CCD camera. This is the CCD returning to the origin position. This is the dispensing function, and this is the options function. This is the PCB thickness adjustment, used to support the height of the PCB. This is the formwork frame Z-axis down and up. This one is for the blade, moving left and right. This part of the window is probably fully introduced. This part is the PCB thickness adjustment, which is the same as the PCB thickness on the previous page. We click Previous. It has the same meaning as the PCB thickness here. When clicking on the Z-axis to descend, be sure to check that the template frame is away from the raised position. If the formwork frame falls onto the raised working platform, it will cause damage and deformation of the formwork frame. If the CCD camera is below the template frame, when you click the Z-axis down, a dialog window will pop up. First, return the CCD camera to the origin position. When this prompt pops up, we first need to return the CCD to the origin. Next, let's introduce the settings of the marking point. Click PCB Mark Settings. Click on the window to move the CCD camera. We can directly click on the mark point to automatically identify. When the mark is not rounded or notched, we choose the matching type. This is the template release and the template frame release and fixing. The parameters here cannot be modified. We will not use them. What does this galvanized plating mean? It is when the PCB marking surface has oxidation problems or other metal colors. We select this function. The production method is also the same, and we can choose it. If there is no PCB oxidation problem or other metal colors, we should not choose it. We can only choose this function when there is a problem. The method of making special shaped marks here is to complete them step by step from the first parameter to the last parameter. When the mark point is irregular or not rounded, we use the function here. The editing method of the program is introduced. Next we will introduce the functions of other menu items. This is a manual cleaning of the steel mesh template. This is the blade returning to the origin position. This is the template fixation and release. This is the CCD returning to the origin position. This is the alarm sound turned off. This window is mainly used to facilitate the uninstallation of the steel mesh template from the printer. This is the PCB production settings. This is the fine-tuning window that displays the PCB. This is to check the effect of solder applied on the PCB. This is to see if the solder is accurately printed on the PCB. These two windows, one is for adjusting the X, Y, and Z axes, and the other is for checking the effect of solder printing. This is the display visual window, real-time observation. A window with PCB marking points will be displayed here. Displays the recognition results. This is the cleaning function switch. Click to select to clean, and cancel to not clean the template. This is the switch for cleaning the steel mesh formwork. If there is no cleaning paper, we have to turn off this cleaning switch. This is the solder application switch. If you cancel it, no solder will be applied to the PCB. This is simulated production, that is, the solder will not be applied to the PCB board. Today's video is introduced here. Thank you for watching. If you are interested in our video, I hope you will subscribe and follow and give us a like and support. If you still encounter anything you don't understand, feel free to contact us. Contact information: jhims.com. See you next time.